Hello once again. Today I'm playing and commenting just to explain my way of thinking during the chess game. Today my opponent is rated almost 2100, so not bad player. He started with e4. I think I have already played Caro-Kann, French defense, so let's try something else this time. Maybe e5. Let's wait for what my opponent has prepared. Okay, knight to f3. Mm, yeah, maybe let's try to play logic thing. He has attacked my pawn here, so this is the direct threat. I need to respond to that. So I'm defending that pawn with the knight. I could of course play other things such as d6. Yeah, bishop to c4. And yeah, he's preparing the kingside castle, of course. That's the first thing, but yeah, potentially also he's having an option to to put more pressure to the f7 pawn in longer term. But yeah, uh, let's try something passive this time because yeah, usually the response is bishop to c5, which is uh, Italian game, but this time let's try something else. In my opinion, maybe Hungarian defense. I think this is the name of this opening. So I have started with bishop e7 here. As I expected, kingside castle, securing the king. I can respond with knight to f6, rook to e1. Okay move. Nothing suspicious about that. Uh, He's simply defending the e4 pawn. What can I do about that? I can do kingside castle. That's one of the options. Or I can play d6. Playing d6 has the advantage that I'm still not showing with what kind of the castle I will do. Is it either the queenside castle or kingside castle? And yeah, sometimes it's good. So yeah, maybe let's keep that. That's a hint to the other players because yeah, when you're really a beginner, every coach would say to you that it's really important to do the castle as quick as possible. But at the higher level, actually during the castle too quickly might be something that could give a small advantage to your opponent because he is already knowing where your king will be in 10-15 moves because kings usually doesn't go from one side of the board to the another one, and that allows him to plan the sneaky thing against your king. And yeah, also this time my opponent played h3. So let's imagine that we'll have the opposite side castles this time and do the move h3 and having the kingside castle already. My opponent is having one tempo less because it's less moves to actually do something on the king side. So let's imagine that yeah, I will do the king side castle, queen side castle. He will be on this side of the board, so king side, and moves to actually challenge the king side is one, two, three. And already my opponent needs to react on the h3 with the h3 pawn. But in the other hand, my opponent is having one, two, three, four, five moves. So that's a huge difference and great advantage for me. So this is why from now I think my plan should be try to trick my opponent and not signal that I am trying to do queenside castle, but also preparing for that. So what can I do here? First, maybe let's start with with moving the bishop from c8 because he doesn't do anything here. Yeah, a bit about the strategy of mine has been shared. Yeah, of course, I don't mind to take the e6 bishop with the pawn, because even now, even if I would not do the queenside castle, having open f file could be also maybe not win for me, but yeah, a small possibilities of playing on the king side due this semi-open file. What are the plans that my opponent could play here? Of course, he might try to challenge the center. Playing d4 immediately is not ideal in my opinion, because yeah, then c4. Then I'm very surprised with that. I have not expected this move at all. Uh, what is the impact of that move? First, he is preparing for the movement of the pawns on the queen side. So my plan with going queen side castle is a bit more risky. But in the other hand, he has weakened the d4 square. So the question is if I'm able to use that anyhow. First of all, I'm thinking about changing my plans to choose the kingside castle because, as I said, one pawn more is on this side of the board. I'm not having the light square bishop anymore, so my attack on the king side would be weaker, and in the other hand, my opponent has already done some moves on the queen side, so I need to reconsider my plan. This is why I need to think if I should do the kingside castle immediately or delay that to yet to let my opponent still thinking what are my plans. And to be honest, I think it's better to do the kingside castle right now. Why? Because only move that came to my mind that would be waiting move that doesn't show what are my intentions yet was queen to d7, but this queen is weak on d7, doesn't do much. I'm thinking more of putting my queen on the king side, so either the g6 or h5. So because of that, I can do that right away. Knight on c3, does it have any does it create any problems on my side? Uh, he is having an opportunity to put the knight on the b4, b5, but I can defend the c7 pawn, for example, by playing rook to c7, and it all looks defended. So I shouldn't be worried about that. I think playing queen to e7, preparing movement on the king side is the right choice for me right now. So yeah, I'm concentrating right now my resources to the king side. Right now I can play either queen to h4, h5 or g6. And which of those options is better? Hmm. If I play, if I play to g6, he's having a chance to move knight to h4, and I'm forced to return my queen to f7 or something. So I'm giving him a tempo. This is why I think it's more useful to play queen to h5. And if he will do anything with this knight, return that to either d4, d2 or h2. I still have the uh, h4 square for my queen, so that's not a big deal. Or I can then return that to g6. Okay, what's next? Bishop here. It means that the move with moves like knight to knight to a6, he would not only attack the a7, the c7 pawn, but also a7. So this is why I should react to this move. And what are the options? I can play a6 or a5. Which one is better? Playing a5 allows white to yeah, to later play to play knight to b5, but does this knight is so scary on this square? That's the good question. Hmm. Because yeah, I need to play either this or this probably. Uh, by playing to a5, it's having better chances to stop the movement of the pawns on the queen side. Because I think my opponent right now is playing to concentrate his pieces on the queen side, move the pawns, maybe open either the A file or C file. Use that yeah, to make critical issues with my center and make a space for the rooks. At the end, I think playing A5 is more useful. I'm keeping my rook on this side of the board probably. Because yeah, as I said, probably this rook won't be that much needed on the king's side yet. I think it could be useful to exchange that rook for the other rook on the from the white pieces. Let's see how it will end. But yeah, right now I'm concentrating on uh, making a problems on the side where my opponent is playing. In the other hand, what may I play on the king side to yeah to use my pieces there? And yeah, what are the options? I can, for instance, play uh, h6, knight to uh, h7, and then try to play knight to g5. Oh, it doesn't look scary, to be honest. Other possibilities. Uh, h6, king to h7, g5 with the plan of pushing the pawn to g4. Maybe that would be more effective. But yeah, first react here. So what are the possibilities? As I said, I want to keep my rook on this side of the board. I could either play here or here. I think yeah, this move looks more natural. So yeah, moving my rook to c8. All the pieces are defended except this and this pawn. So yeah, I need to remember on the tactical maneuvers on those two pieces. And yeah, right now I can try yeah, to develop the plan that I have mentioned earlier. So yeah, starting with h6. It's quite long plan. It contains many of moves, but yeah, attack on the king is much more impactful than just weakening the pawn. So even if my plan takes more moves, I'm hoping that yeah, I will just I'm gonna threat my opponent a bit more with more scary things here. So yeah, as I said, starting with the h6. As you can see, I'm not doing that much of the calculation in this game yet. But yeah, that's also a useful learning for you. If you think that yeah, chess is all about calculations, it's not. simply it's not. The downside of me opening the Kingside is, of course, that my king could be really weakened too. But I hope that my opponent would not have a chance to use that. Hmm. I'm thinking what would happen if he will play d4 here. Uh, Maybe I can just take the pawn on a e4 then. Maybe not. Yeah, it's not easy position. Yeah, if my opponent would try to just follow the queenside march of the pawns, I think my pawn is having more chances. But if instead he will try to to focus on uh, attacking the center, then I might have the problem. And yeah, that's actually also a good learning for you, because when we're doing the full attack on either of the sides of the board, it's really important to make sure that the center is more or less secured. Otherwise, we might face many problems after weakening the one of the flanks. In my case, the king side. After open centered, I can be in real trouble. But yeah, let's go with the plan that I have explained earlier. Let's see where it will end. Mm-hmm. So as I expected, he's starting his pressure on the queen side. He has already won the open file here, so but that's good that he's not focusing on the center at all. So yeah, I'm just following my plan, trying to open the king side. Mm-hmm. Okay. What he's trying to do here? He might later try to offer me an exchange of the knights on g4. But yeah, it's nothing wrong about that. For me, I'm not scared of that. I can play queen to g6. I could also play to f7. Yeah, he has offered me the exchange of the queens. I have rejected that immediately because, yeah, I'm the side that is trying to use the opening on the king side here for my attack. So if I would exchange the queens, I would be left with open file that is taken by my opponent and some weak pawns on the king side. So exchanging the queens is definitely against my goals here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he has played f3, and right now I can either try to use the f4 square to activate my knight, or immediately try to to open the king side. And to be honest, I'm into the option A. Activate the pieces first. It's more important in most of the moments in the game, rather than just fighting for the space. So I'm just following that order here. He's having the queen side. He's having the taken file, the A file, but there is no way to use that. The only thing that he can do is actually play knight to a7. I will take that, and then I'm not even sure if I would need to defend this pawn. Maybe I would just be more focused on attacking the king side and forgetting about this pawn, because yeah, that's just a pawn, and I think more important things will happening on the king side here. I'm behind the schedule regarding the time. My plan is usually to have 50% of the time per game after a 20th move. And yeah, I didn't manage to have that, unfortunately. Because yeah, I have not 7.5 minutes, but rather 5. And yeah, here a decision I need to take. Do I want to defend this one? Answer is yes. And why? Because I don't want to have this file to open. Oh yeah, I can see right now that better move was actually to defend the pawn on the b8, because right now the thing that my opponent could play is actually this concrete move, and yeah, this pawn is open to be taken because yeah, this piece is undefended. And if he will take on the b6, I'm taking that, and he's taking the piece back. So, but I can play this, and there is no problem anymore, because yeah, the bishop on e7 is defended, and also at the same time I'm preparing myself to yeah, to maybe move the other rook here closer to the king side when it's needed, to maybe sacrifice the c7 pawn at some point. I know everything is possible. Okay, queen to a4. He's planning to put the queen on d7. Interesting. It is a direct threat, and I need to react to that. I'm putting my bishop to e7. I'm defending the d7 square, and also I'm allowing my rook to move to g8 and maybe even g7 in the next move. Okay, he's trying to take my f6 bishop, and I'm really into that idea, to be honest. Uh, please go on. This is the weakest piece on the chessboard for me right now. It's not active because of the pawns that are on the dark squares, so it's impossible to use the advantage of the bishop. That is actually the long range, and with blockade of my pawns, the usage of that range is impossible. And also, I'm threatening the taking of the d3 pawn, and I'm finally having a chance to push the pawns forward to finally get to the opponent's king. So let's see what will happen after that. Okay, he took, and I'm taking that with the g pawn. Why? First of all, I'm opening my bishop here to this diagonal. That could be useful for me. And also I'm opening the g file to have a better attacking chances to the opponent's king. Only win thanks to that move. And it should be pretty easy to get rid of the g4 knight that looks pretty strong right now. But for instance, I can just try to play bishop to h4 first, and then play h5 to get rid of that annoying piece. So yeah, I'm following the plan. I'm still having plenty of time for this game, so it's a very positive side. It doesn't happen that often when I'm playing and commenting, so I'm really happy about that. And I'm thinking if I should play immediately h4, or I can wait with that move and maybe first play rook to g8 to make a threat first, and then if my opponent would answer with something, the impact of the h5 would be more scary for my opponent, for Ibrahim. c5, move that I could expect. He's trying to to use the the weak of my pawns here. And what can I do about that? Mm, Maybe let's simplify the queen side first, because one pawn less to take care of, and since I have less pieces on the queen side, it's better to have less to take care there. And then I can play h5 to get rid of this annoying piece. And right now, if my opponent would try to play something like c takes d6, I can take that back with the pawn. Oh, yeah, he has played this. So a different approach. Yeah. What about that? Okay, I may start with rook to g7, putting extra pressure on the g file. But also I'm inviting my opponent to take that on d6 to open my rook here. And yeah, that actually could be really scary for my opponent. And yeah, I'm really happy he has played that. Because right now, I'm the side that's gonna have usage of the open squares here. Mm, he can play here. Rook to c2. I can take that. He would need to take that with the queen. I can give a check on a7, and yeah, it's quite problematic for my opponent because he would need to go here probably. He could got a check here. Yeah, let's calculate that in a realistic way. So yeah, rook takes, queen takes, rook to h7, and if he will go to h1, it's almost checkmate, or it is actually checkmate, yeah, because he would need to give all the pieces that he has left, and then the mate is on g3 by bishop. But a more critical line here is also to be checked. So what is after king to f1? Uh, Maybe something simple like queen to g6. That should be good enough because he doesn't have any checks. I'm threatening many things, so yeah, let's go with that. I think he has overlooked this possibility of checking on a7. He's forced to play queen to f1. And yeah, as I said, playing king to h6 is a minimum. Maybe I can also consider a move such as queen to e3, but then I need to be prepared for the checks. But the only check he can do is actually playing queen to c7, and there is no follow-up after king g6. So maybe playing here is yeah, it's deadly. Because he doesn't have any option to defend the e1 and f2 squares at the same time. The only option, of course, is queen to e2, but then he's having a mate in 2. So let's go with that. I think another option of his could be trying to play moves like g4. But yeah, he's just giving up some pawns here. He would lose the knight here. And yeah, it's just escaping of the mate, but it doesn't win the game or saving that, unfortunately for Ibrahim. Okay, as I thought, he's trying to escape of the mate by playing g4. And as I said, I think most effective way of winning that game is just winning the knight. And that should be enough for securing the victory here. Yeah, the minimum I can do is just taking the knight, because right now there is an escape for the knight on f1. Still, the checks doesn't do much for me because it's just one check, and then still there are problems on the opponent side. So, mm-hmm. I could exchange the queens right away, but yeah, this is maybe not a mistake that very often is done by the beginners. But when you're a side that is having the attack, the opponent's kings is widely open, probably not exchanging, well, forcing your opponent to actually looking for the exchanges. So why shouldn't I first take another pawn? And right now, I think my opponent should think about forcing the exchange for on himself. Otherwise, he might be close to get mated here. I could force the exchange right away, but right now, my opponent feels that it's required for him. So, in addition, I have an extra pawn thanks to that. So yeah, right now, I think it should be okay to exchange the queens. And yeah, I'm trying to activate my king. Normal situation for the endgames. And he has resigned. Eh, thank you, Ibrahim, but I have made one blunder. As usual, we can just do the quick recap of the game. Uh, just a quick one. So yeah, the opening. I have no idea what is the plan for black in Hungarian game. So it depends. So I just yeah tried to make it up. Initially, I was planning to have the queenside castle, but after c4, I have resigned from that plan, focus on the kingside. I think my approach with a4 maybe wasn't the best ideal. Maybe playing a6 could be better. But what is even more important, I think my opponent would have much more chances if after me opening the king side, especially after playing g5, if he would, instead of continuing the plan of attacking on the queen side, instead play something like d4 and try to open the center, he would have much more chances with that. Because in the general rule, if one of the sides is weakening the king side or the queen side, and you have the option to open the center, it's very effective to actually use the weakening of the king side or queen side that has been just made. So yeah, that's a tip that you can take from. And yeah, later on, I think my opponent overlooked. First of all, that wasn't the best decision to open my G file. That gave me the option to attack here. And later, yeah, my opponent has overlooked the option to have those checks on the A7 and the mating possibilities on the king here. So that was lost here, unfortunately. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you have learned something and you're not bored with me. If you like that, analysis, please maybe write in the comment Hungarian defense. And yeah, see you next time.